Hi, you're watching Shakti Yoga Studio presents How to Become a True Yogi. My name is Manisha. In today's episode, we will be covering part 2 of Gyan Yoga, or the path of knowledge to self-realization. In case you have missed part 1 of this episode, there is a link for the episode in the description box below. So please go and check it out first before you start this video. Alright, so now let's get started. Today we are going to talk about some of the existential questions. When we discussed soul consciousness in the previous episode, we have answered the question, who am I? Today we are going to talk about who is God, what is his form. Now since our course of reference is the Bhagavad Gita, we assume that there is God because he says he is God. Lord Krishna says that he is God. But what is his form? He says that I am the seed of all creation, which is Jara and Chetan, which means Jara is non-living things, Chetan is living beings. And he says that I am, I am everything that is Shrestha, that is superior in the world. So he says of the Nada, in all the sounds that exist, I am Om. In all the alphabets, in all the Akshara, I am A. In all the Devata, I am Vishnu. In all the water bodies, I am the ocean, and so on and so forth. So he gives a long description of this. He also says that in the world, there is nothing that is not me. Other than me, there is nothing else. Okay, so hearing all this description of Lord Krishna, Arjuna, he asks him that I would like to see how your true form is. So Lord Krishna says that you cannot see, you cannot even comprehend this form through your human eyes. So when Arjuna insists, he gives him divine power to be able to see his true form, or the massive form, the Virata Swarupa. Now when he takes on this form, Arjuna is overwhelmed to see that it has eyes like the suns and the moons. There is no beginning, there is no end. All the planets, the stars, the moons are part of this form. The mountains, the oceans, the rivers, the forests are all there. All the Devatas, all the Gandharvas, all the Ashwin Kumars, the Sanat Kumars, the Saptarishis, all the human beings, all the animals, everything is part of this Virata Swarupa. The mouth is breathing fire. Lord Krishna also says that there are a lot of gods that people pray to with different desires which they want the gods to fulfill. And based on their desires, they choose the god or the form that they prefer to pray to. But all the prayers reach me, and I am the one who bestows them with blessings to fulfill the desires that they have asked for. Now we move to the next question, and that is, why are we here? So in the previous episode, we have talked about soul consciousness, we have talked about birth and death, about truth and untruth. So we take the form of a body, we enter a body, we live our life from birth to death, we discard the body, and then we take some other body, and then again we discard it, and so on and so forth. The cycle is eternal, just as the soul is eternal. Now, why are we here? We are here to attain liberation from this eternal cycle of births and death. This liberation is also called as moksha. So, there are some concepts of more detail of what is moksha, what is dvait or duality, and what is advait, singularity. If you guys are interested in that, I can do a separate episode where we discuss in detail these two theories which are discussed by different sects of what is the nature or the relationship between the soul and the Supreme Soul. So now the third thing we are going to talk about is what is the karma for a Gyan Yogi. Now you may well ask me that Manisha, we are talking about the path of knowledge. So where does the karma come into this? So for that, my answer is, according to Lord Krishna, there is no option for a human being to escape karma, because the very existence of the body requires that you do some karma. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to walk, you have to breathe. So there is action definitely involved, right? So there is no scope for saying that I will not do action. Now, for a Gyan Yogi, he has detached himself, he has become an ascetic, he has left his family, his profession, his wealth, and come into this path to become a Gyan Yogi. So what can be the kind of karma that is done by such a person, right? So one, of course, is he's going to pursue his path of knowledge, he's going to attain soul consciousness, he's going to meditate on God. What is the Swarup of God? We have just now seen the Virat Swarup, the massive form of God. He's going to meditate on that. But he has to perform some karma beyond that. He's going to beg for alms, for food, because that is his dharma according to being an ascetic, because he's an ascetic. So what is his karma? He is going to be, if he has become a Gyan Yogi, for him, he will see God in everyone and God in everything. Because as per Lord Krishna, there is nothing other than him. There is nothing other than God. So that means there is God everywhere. Now, the question may occur to people that, does that mean that we are all God? So for that, the answer is something which he describes as pratyaksha and apratyaksha. So he says that when he takes birth in a human form, as he has done, say in the case of Lord Krishna, then we see him in the pratyaksha form. Pratyaksha is evident. We can see that yes, he's there in human form, this is God. Apratyaksha is when he's hidden. He's not visible, it is not obvious that there is God. And in that sense, he is present in everyone and in everything. Another example he gives to explain, he says that, for example, there is fire. Fire is evident. You see fire and you say, okay, this is fire. And you see a piece of wood and you don't say fire. But when you light the piece of wood, it is going to generate fires. He is there in the apratyaksha form or in the hidden form inside all of us. Okay, so now when a Gyan Yogi sees God in everyone and sees God everywhere, his action is definitely going to be selfless and egoless. He has attained soul consciousness. So the only action that he can do is seva, that is service to mankind, to everybody, to everything around him, not just mankind, to the plants, to the animals, to the nature, towards everyone around him. And to understand this, we can look at the example of Shirdi Ke Sai Baba, who I said was a Gyan Yogi. He used to beg for alms, but he also had the knowledge of Ayurveda, and he could use herbs and plants to create medicines, and he used to give them free of cost to everybody, irrespective of their class, their caste, their religion. And people came from all over, irrespective of religions, to him for these medicines. Now he could have made it his profession and earned money instead of going and begging for alms for food in the village. But he was an ascetic, and being an ascetic, it was his dharma to beg for alms. So the knowledge that a Gyan Yogi has, the talent, the skill, he submits it for use by others willingly and with love. And why does a Gyan Yogi have to beg for alms? Because it is very important for the Gyan Yogi to remain egoless, and having to go and beg for alms makes sure that a person who is a Gyani, right? He is on the path of knowledge, he is a Gyani, he is conscious, He has soul consciousness, he's detached, but he's having to beg for alms. So there is no scope of his ever gaining that ego that I have so much knowledge, I have so much skills, I have so many powers. Because as you go on the path of yoga, people also get a lot of siddhis. So again, if you want to know about siddhis, we can explore more on the 8 siddhis that exist, different kinds of powers which come as the person becomes a more achieved yogi. So this is, having completed this, the 4th point that I would like to talk about is how do I connect to God? So I know I'm a soul, I know there is a supreme soul. So how do I connect to God? So for a Gyan Yogi, the manner of connection is through meditation. Now what are some of the mantras? But before we reach the mantras, let us understand the posture. So typically a good posture for sitting for meditation is considered as Padmasana. Padmasana or the lotus pose. The reason why the lotus pose is selected is because it is considered that the lotus, though it remains in the water of the pond, it is still aloof from it. And that's the same thing for a yogi. Even though he is there in this world, he is detached from it. And that is why the lotus pose is considered as one of the better poses for doing meditation. However, if you cannot sit in the lotus pose, there is Siddhasana or Siddha Yoni Asana for women. So that is a comparatively easier pose which you can consider. If not, you can sit in Sukhasana. There are people who cannot sit on the ground. If that is the case, you can sit on a chair. If you're bedridden and cannot sit, then you can of course lie on a bed as well. So that is the posture. Now the focus. For a Gyan Yogi, the point of focus is the center of your eyebrows here. So this point is considered as a seat of your soul. So imagine inside here a point of light, energy, divine energy, your soul, and you focus on your soul, because the goal of a Gyan Yogi is to raise their soul consciousness. Now what is the process? So once you sit in the required posture, you're going to keep Gyan Mudra, which is you're going to touch the tip of your index finger and your thumb. The other 3 fingers are straight. Both the hands are going to be in this posture. Place them on your thighs. The palms are facing up. You're going to close your eyes. Now slowly move your focus to the center of your eyebrows. Imagine a point of light there, your soul shining bright. Focus on it. Now we will do the mantra. So there are 3 mantras that I would suggest for a Gyan Yogi. The first is the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra is a prayer to God asking for enlightenment or knowledge. So I think in the initial stage, this is the best mantra to follow. Once you have been doing this for some time, I would suggest you shift to Soham. Soham is I am that. This will help in raising your soul consciousness. When you start seeing the changes of becoming soul conscious in your day-to-day life, then you should shift to the 3rd mantra, which is Om. Because as God has said, in Nad, I am Om, in sound, I am Om. So Om is the representation of God in the form of a sound, and that is Om. That is all for today.